What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD, 100D here, back again with, of course, another episode of Road to Part 2, the weekly news series. Not news series. I keep saying news series when I say that, I swear. The weekly series about any and all things The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2, titled Road to Part 2. And with me, of course, the luxurious co-host is back, the boy.
Yes, I am.
The Starks. Last week, I had to pre-record some episodes, so we couldn't. We were unable to line up our schedules. I blame me. It is purely my fault. I went on vacation.
No, it's not your fault.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
It's not your fault at all.
that's all good. It is what it is. If you guys missed that, make sure you go check out episode 6. We did some Last of Us trivia. Make sure you go check out that in the channel as well as on the podcast feed, where you can also get this episode and other future episodes on different podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Podcasts. You can listen to all those in the description. We have links on there to our Anchor link where you can go and get those different links to different kinds of podcast services that you can listen to us on, and also the Cross Circle podcast as well for PlayStation Source. So you can go and hit up those if you want an audio format of this show. I'm gonna cough real quick. Gosh,
You good?
I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I tell you, I'm getting old. There's this old man filter going around, and I tried to do one,
God.
and and what was quite interesting was that it looked the exact same as what it looked like right now. So.
I look a little weird. I deleted the app afterwards. I'm like,
It got my gray hair down. I be looking like Joel. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But the topic at hand here was that, of course, one of the biggest topics of Last of Us Part 2 is, of course, the date. When is it going to come out? When's it going to go down? You know what I'm saying? Me and you, I believe that was our first episode on this series, right? Was the release date, I believe?
so, yeah.
And I think we've done a like a follow up to that. No, it was the confirmation that it wasn't coming out this year. So we were talking about that in relation to Death Stranding, of course.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But
That's true.
This news is a bit old. It came out a few weeks ago, officially on July 5th. So we're a few weeks late on this topic. And we were gonna do it on episode 6, but of course I had to go on vacation. So we're doubling back to it and talking about it. And there is a much bigger discussion about the different additions and different SKUs that will be for Last of Us Part 2 that we will talk about as well. But I wanted to just touch base on this rumor going around that I think holds a bit more weight than a regular traditional rumor based off of who actually said this particular line of information supposedly about The Last of Us Part 2. So obviously, the Starks, I'm sure you're aware of Ashley Johnson, correct? If you would like to,
yes.
Give her the whole rundown, give the people
Right, so
if you don't know about Ashley Johnson.
Ashley essentially plays at the time a crush of mine named Ellie. I don't know her last name, but Ellie in The Last of Us, which we all know as most of us know, is played by Ashley Johnson. And you want me to go over basically what she said as well?
If you'd like, yeah, sure.
All right, so because I made a video about this on my channel as well.
Yeah,
and
of course.
essentially in an interview, she was interviewed with some kind of YouTube channel, and the interviewer basically asked when The Last of Us Part 2 might be coming out, and then she goes, I think it's coming out in and then she kind of stops herself without revealing the entire word. And as we all know, or at least most of us know, there's only 1 month in the year, with F, that starts with F, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That starts with F, right?
Yeah. I just thought it was funny. Like clearly, if we look at all the months of the year, there's one that starts with F. You feel me?
Right.
But
and which I guess suggests that The Last of Us Part 2 could potentially be coming out in February of 2020. And
so
on top of that, the rumors, right, kind of also pointed towards, like, even Jason Schreier said, I know I butcher his name a lot, but Jason, who's a credible source, he basically said that it's slated to come out for February of 2020 as well, right? So.
Yeah. He was saying that following the Death Stranding blowout of news and stuff like that, it was right before then, when like the release coming out about Death Stranding about 100%, it was coming out in November. But he was saying prior in of course terms of like what about Last of Us Part 2, he was saying that he's heard that the game was pushed to February, or I don't know if he name dropped February as a month or like Q1 of 2020. He could have said one of those two things, but nonetheless, you know, I think I even said it. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like if it was not this year, if it was not 2019 in the fall, would have 100% been February, right? Because
That's just such a weird month.
well, here's why it's not though. Here's why it's really not though, right? Horizon Zero Dawn launched in February. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And for that year, you know, that was like their. So let me just prep this, right? So obviously you're very much well aware that in this PS4 generation, right, we've had a major PlayStation exclusive in the first half of the year and the second half of the year to end it off, right? So for 2018, it was God of War, and then what was the
In April.
Yeah, it was
And Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
in
of
September.
course. Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah. So like they always tend to do that, where like they typically, you know, kind of put two tentpoles. Like for this year, for example, it's going to be Days Gone, and then it'll be Death Stranding, right?
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that, like
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
two,
yeah.
they like
True.
they like tend to have their big exclusives. Typically, obviously, it probably wasn't every year, but typically speaking, for the last few years, it's been, you know, beginning of the year, end of the year.
And right.
Exactly, right? So that's why I feel like this February date makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And also why I think I'm leaning more towards February is because if the whole narrative that The Last of Us Part 2 was put, and here's where I'm a little, you know, tripped up on this, because why would they push Part 2 into February and not put Death Stranding in February, right? Like, what was the reasoning for that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What do you think? You know what I'm saying? Like I mean,
What do
if
think? I recorded a video today, which I'm not gonna have uploaded until Wednesday, so tomorrow. If you're watching this, today's the 16th of July, just to be specific. And I spoke about how I'm worried for The Last of Us Part 2, and you know, it wasn't a negative video, but basically there's been so many job listings for July alone, and just the way the developers have been just talking about the game. I don't think the game is as, I guess, smooth looking or the entirety of the game. Like, I think there's just a lot more work to have been done, especially with Neil Druckmann tweeting out that he's been working long hours, long nights, and certain things motivate him. He basically tweeted out. So I think that might have been the reason. I think Death Stranding seemed to have been a little bit better in terms of production and development, because perhaps it's a smaller game. I know people are like, oh, well, it's probably not, but I think 110% Death Stranding is probably a smaller game than The Last of Us.
oh no, 100%,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%.
So-
Yeah. That, like, we even talked about on this series about how you know, it definitely seems like Death Stranding is a smaller game in terms of, like, in comparison to like Last of Us Part 2. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But well, this is completely unrelated, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but what if the reason why, and this may be just a whole nother episode, right? But what if the reason why they've been hiring so much is not because they're trying to finish the Prime game, finish the, like,
They're trying to do something else.
maybe there's a ongoing thing about Part 2, perhaps Battle Royale.
Oh God.
But you know, that's a whole nother episode. But you know, so here's, I mean, Ashley Johnson, right? The one of the two protagonists, and clearly for this game, the main protagonist of the game, as opposed to Joel being the main protagonist, I would say, of The Last of Us. This is definitely Ellie's perspective. Obviously, we are playing as her, so she is definitely taking on that helm of the main protagonist of the game. You know what I'm saying? So with Ashley Johnson saying this, right?
Right.
Do we? So I'm just trying to think, like, because she says, I think, right? So that was a whole prospect of like, do we think that she knows that for sure?
You know what I think it is? I think it. There was a. I watched. Now, don't quote me. Have you seen the documentary for God of War?
I have. Yes.
No?
Raising Kratos?
Raising. Yes. How can I
Yes.
forget?
Yeah.
I believe at some point, but great documentary, by the way. I encourage anybody who's watching this video to watch it because it is absolutely massive.
Oh, 100%.
Great. So I think in that documentary they mentioned how the game wasn't supposed to come. I think in April of 2018 is when the God of War came out, right? But I think it was. I wanted to say it was supposed to come out in February or something like that. It was supposed to come out. It wasn't supposed to come out in April, but they pushed it back, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever announced a date prior that wasn't April. I think they wanted to be confident with an official release date where there would be no delays. I don't quote me, but I think that was what they mentioned in the documentary. But anyhow, this could be the same case where that's probably like a placeholder date. Like that's the objective, that's the goal. Which is kind of confusing to me because of the fact that they've been working on this game for a long time, as well as it was apparently supposed to come out this year, or so it's been suggested. And if that were the case, I mean, February is a long, like for me, I don't think that's a placeholder if that's the case, right? Because if it was supposed to come out in November, then February is probably 110% going to be the month in which The Last of Us Part 2 comes out.
I mean, here's what I'll say to that, right? I totally understand your point of view and totally understand like your line of thinking, but jeez, I'm an old man. But you have to also take into account that you know, when a game goes gold, it's usually about a month before the game actually comes out, because of course they have to print the game, as to go through certification and stuff like that, as to go through all that stuff. I believe it goes through cert after it goes gold. It could be before, but I know
it goes through what? Sorry,
certification with with the publishing department at Sony.
I'd imagine. Yeah.
I think it goes through it before or after. I'm not sure exactly, but
I want to say before.
Probably before. Probably just makes sense. Yeah. But like I know there is a month in between, about a month, when it goes gold and when they actually release it, because they have to print the copies of the game, get it distributed to
the press,
the different
retail
things that go out. Yeah. So you know that all has to happen before the game actually comes out. Exactly. Yeah. So if the game was supposed to come out hypothetically in November, right? And now it's coming out in February, right? That's not a lot of time. So my thought process is like, man, like I guess they in theory felt that they only need like just a little bit, just a little more room for them to finalize something or polish. Yeah, like maybe that's all they intended. And I don't know if, you know, and like I guess my biggest hang up is like if it was caused by Death Stranding. I don't know if it was. I don't know. And like but maybe, you know, the higher ups at Sony looked at Hideo Kojima, looked at Death Stranding, and were like, all right, your game is pretty much on track to be done and could potentially launch in 2019. And they looked at Part 2, and maybe they had an honest conversation. Maybe they had an honest conversation with Sony and was like, yo, we would like to be February, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that, right? So maybe that could have been at play too. But
yeah.
Interesting.
No, I agree with that understanding.
So here's what I want to do to wrap up this section of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so are we both on the same page? And if you're not, let me know that the game is coming out in February 2020.
Okay, somewhat. Yeah, I am and I'm not, because like I feel like that's a confident date, but at the same time, I don't think it's 100. Like I think yes. The answer is yes. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Because
February it is.
Yes. I'm like leaning towards it, but if not, dude, let me know, because I want to place a bet. I want bets going now. I want some bets going. Okay. So there are 4 Fridays in February. There's February 7th, February 14th,
21,
February 21st, 28th. Yeah. Those are the 4 Fridays in February. Now,
14.
I was gonna bet 14.
I love that number.
Okay, fine.
It's my birth number,
it's
man.
Cool.
14. Come on.
Okay. You know what? You can take February 14th. That's fine. Right. I'm gonna take 28th, because
All
then
right,
it'll be my birthday present. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I turn 22. Wow, I turn 22 next
26,
year.
right? Or 29?
No, 20. You think I'm 29 years old?
No. Sorry, what day? No. I mean, like, what day in
Oh,
February?
the 25th of February is my birthday.
20. Okay,
So I'm
all
thinking, all right, I celebrate on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? I see the
Yeah.
family and all that, and then on Friday, you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
that's my real present. Shout out Naughty Dog. You feel me? So I'm gonna go with February 28th. I'm gonna go with
All right.
February 28th. I'm gonna write down the notes that we have it set in
Please
stone.
do. Yeah.
All right, down we have it.
Because that's Family Day. I think it's going to come out in February 14th.
Yeah, I mean, if
Game's about family. It's about reuniting with your mom, your dad, your sister, your brothers.
your mom, your dad. All right. The Starks February 14th. I got February 28th for old TKD over here. Now, but let us know in the chat, guys. I mean, not in the chat. We're not streaming. Let us know in the comment section. When do you think Last of Us Part 2 will be coming out? You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
please do.
And I'm sure we'll know at some point this year. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
September.
Maybe, yeah.
September, 110%.
Oh, you think the
For
reveal is going to be
Outbreak Day.
Outbreak Day?
Outbreak
Yeah,
Day.
that
Hell
is
yeah.
that is going to be an interesting day.
I
Can't wait.
watch. We're gonna get a story trailer. We're gonna get a
Yes, we are.
multiplayer trailer, and then we're gonna get details regarding something a little bit more bigger than that.
I just, for the love of God, do not want to see Joel. Do not show me Joel before I get my hands on the game. I don't want to see Joel. No, please don't. If they show me Joel, I'm gonna keep it honest. I know that we are going to react to the next trailer, right?
Yeah,
that comes
right.
out. We both have a NDA contract,
An oath.
an oath.
Yes.
An oath that
Yes.
none of us will watch the trailer until we're together.
Now it's
Live
gonna have your
reacting.
face cam. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the weirdos of the internet have cost me my soul, and so I've decided not to post myself or my face on my gaming side. But
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what.
unfortunately,
I'll tell you what, Starks. You are a very handsome fellow, if I may.
oh, I appreciate it.
If I may.
Appreciate it.
Now,
Appreciate it.
what I was just end again this release day talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they show this trailer off and if they show Joel, I'm gonna be very upset. I'm gonna be visibly upset.
They're gonna show Joel. 110%. I mean, sorry, I guarantee it. They're gonna show Joel.
I wish they.
I think what they're gonna do is reverse it, where they show more of Ellie and then glimpses of Joel, like they did in the first trailer. But it was, I guess, less of Ellie, more of Joel, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah,
So they're gonna do it like that.
we'll see. But the other part of this episode,
More exciting part, actually.
I'm not sure if you ever got one of these, but there have been some murmurs and rumors, if you will, about certain special editions. And so the link to this article will be in the description, and I'm going to read straight from it. That kind of goes over the whole thing. I'll just read the first few paragraphs that kind of go over the special editions that are rumored to be for Last of Us Part 2. So I'll cough one more time because I'm an old man. All right. The idea of The Last of Us Part 2 releasing in February of 2020 just won't go away, will it? It really is starting to sound like the real deal, though, as a post on the Chinese gaming forum points to this once again being the right time for its launch. Corroborated by the ever-reliable insider ZHugeX, it is also said that there are 4 different editions of the game are part of the title's launch plans. Over on A9VG, a poster going by the name of Agent Kicker states that The Last of Us Part 2 will indeed come out on next February, and there are 4 varying versions of the game plans: a standard edition, a special edition, a collector's edition, and most interestingly, an Ellie edition. We're not entirely sure what this version could contain outside the typical art box, soundtrack, and season pass, maybe a bust of her head. There has to be something interesting about this version of the game. So there we go. So now this took an interesting turn because I want to initially reflect on the Last of Us editions that we had back in 2013, but it looks like they're doing something different here. So I don't know. It's very because I didn't think the standard just the game was an edition, but technically it is. You know what I'm saying?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, technically, yeah. So, interesting.
Well,
So,
did you want to go over the 2013 versions of it, or
yeah,
and then kind of compare? Okay.
Why not? Why not? Yeah,
All
let's.
right. So,
let's
want me to do that, or will you?
If you'd like to go over the first two, I can do the last two. Yeah, whatever you want.
All right. So the survival edition, I think, right? Yeah.
Yep.
The survival edition it was, $80. And it includes the sights and sounds pack, as well as a full-sized hardcover art book, steelbook packaging of the game, of course, and the first issue of The Last of Us: American Dreams, and a Naughty Dog sticker sheet. Now, I have the American Dreams book. I haven't read all of it, but it's great. Then there's the Pulse Pandemic Edition, includes the same things, except it comes with a 12-inch premium statue of both Joel and Ellie, in addition to all of the content in the Survival, like I mentioned, edition, except for the art book, though. And then the last one is 2 special editions of The Last of Us have been revealed. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so
Yes.
I don't know if that's
So the
digital.
Yeah, no. So the other two that came out, they were called the Ellie and Joel editions, separately, Ellie edition and then Joel edition, which we have a parallel there with the rumors going on right now about there being an Ellie edition for Last of Us Part 2. So that's something to take to just take note of, that like there seems to be a parallel that they have done a Ellie edition before, right? But it says here, according to IGN, again, I will link these in the description as well for these links. Two special editions of the Last of Us have been revealed, available in Joel or Ellie versions. The sets have only been confirmed for Europe, with Ellie exclusive to Game and Joel exclusive to Amazon and independent. So these two were exclusive to different outlets that you can only get these editions from, and I believe it was only in Europe. They could have came to the States, I think, but I think they were only for Europe that you can get these. So kind of restrictive. Yeah, very interesting. But it says here that both of the editions offer a controller skin, little Big Planet costume, poster, and Blu-ray cover based upon the character of your choice. Both versions will also offer the previously revealed Sights and Sounds pack, as Stark said before, as well as the survival pack with bonus items and upgrades, a mini art book, and a mini comic of The Last of Us: American Dreams. And so that's what those two versions came with. They were both very similar, just one was obviously Ellie oriented and the other one was Joel oriented. Dude, I love those posters, man. Those posters are hot. Those are nice. Yeah. Those are nice. But those were those. And obviously there was some game tie-ins with having a little Big Planet costume in there, which I believe Little Big Planet 2 or 3 was out at that point. Maybe the first one, I don't know. But you could do that in that game. But I guess what I want to just talk about is like what do we think? So the standard edition, I don't think we have to talk about that because that one is just a game, clearly. That's, nothing insane there, obviously. But the special, the collectors, and then the Ellie edition.
Okay, so I think the special edition, right? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
So yes, the special edition is gonna come with something similar to the first one in the first game, where you get the hardcover art book, right? You get the steelbook packaging for the game, but then you're probably gonna get like stickers, because I know Naughty Dog did that for. I think I got the special edition when it came to Naughty Dog, and I actually got quite a few things with it. For Uncharted 4, that is. And possibly multiplayer content, right? I'm sure.
Yeah. Like stuff for factions, like maybe like boosters or
customizations or stuff.
Yeah.
And the same thing is going to be included for the collector's edition, except I think it's obviously probably going to come with some kind of what's it called? A statue, right? And perhaps something else. But I think for the Ellie edition, I think what we're going to get is a badass arm tattoo. That would be sick if you can get like.
Wait,
one of those.
You mean like the ones that like you like stick on your arm and you do with like what?
Yeah,
paper towel?
And then you could like wash it off after a couple of days.
That would be kind of
cool. That would be dope.
That honestly,
I would love to put that on my arm.
That's an interesting idea. I was thinking about the Ellie edition. I was thinking like, yo, let us have Ellie's knife from her mom.
Yeah.
I think
We'll get a knife too. Maybe a statue knife or something, like a little.
Yeah, I mean, now thinking, I don't know the logistics of having a
No,
pocket
not like
knife.
a sharp. No.
Yeah, now that I think about it,
Not like a statue. I find.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Almost like one of those like box, like sorry, one of those like letter openers kind of stuff. Maybe it could be like one of that. Like it kind of looks like a like Ellie's knife, but you can use it to like cut letters. But I think what they might do is just do like a statue of her knife, which I don't think would be as cool as having something like Ellie and Joel, but just like
yeah.
just a cleaner version of a statue of them. I think that would be dope.
Hmm.
I don't know what else they can do, but I think I would love to have some kind of arm tattoo to put on my arm. That would be so awesome, and I'll take. Oh, I think they're gonna do it. Come on,
Honestly,
that's an obvious one.
I never considered that until you just said it. So like, I'm just like, man, like that is a interesting.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, you
Wow.
know what? That would be so dope.
That would be lit. Now,
Yeah.
what I would love to see, obviously with the E3 gameplay reveal that was last year, E3 2018, of course, the main, it was about an 8-minute trailer where we got a ton of gameplay in that. It's very clear that the game is beautiful, right? The game is gorgeous. Right. I believe wholeheartedly that the Last of Us Part 2 will be yet again the send off to a PlayStation console, like with the PS3, and it will be the best game on the console. Actually, I don't know if I'll say that because I think God of War might still be looked at more importantly for PS4,
Really?
just because of like what I can talk for hours about God of War, but like what like God of War meant to the PS4 was like huge, right?
Right.
I mean, it beat
True.
dude, it beat Red Dead 2. You know what I'm saying? Like that's no small feat. You know what I'm saying? So like I think maybe like overall like looking back on PS4, I still think God of War will still be the game of this generation and the game of the PS4. But I think that The Last of Us Part 2 will still retain its importance when The Last of Us first came out on PS3 in terms of like the best looking game on the console.
I disagree with that settlement. I think that The
Ooh.
Last of Us Part 2 is going to outperform every single game that ever
Well, wait.
put their game on the PlayStation 4 console.
Well, wait.
Watch.
Wait. I'm
Watch.
not against that. What I'm saying is that like
No, I know. No,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you
yeah.
mean.
I feel that. I definitely think that it'll sell more than God of War, 100%. And that is no,
Right.
credit taken away from God of War. God of War is amazing, but like I definitely think that Part 2 will definitely sell more than God of War. But just to reiterate, like I feel like looking back on PS4, I still think people will look fondly on God of War, and how much that meant to the console as opposed to part 2 will be iffy. You know what I'm saying? Not like saying
No,
not.
I agree.
Yeah. But what was I saying? I hold on. I'll say something.
You saying that the game would
Yeah.
retain its name, but God of War would still be looked at as the more quote unquote superior game based off of its technical achievement.
Yeah, but why did I start
Stuff
talking?
like that, right?
Why am I talking about this in terms of the special editions? What was I trying to say?
I don't know.
Wow. Here's what I was saying. Okay, so because the 2018 trailer, the game is gorgeous, right? So I would like to see a very well done, a very well crafted, like art book, coffee table style art book for the game. You know what I'm saying? I want like a really well done art book that just shows off a lot of the landscapes and environments. What's up?
You know what? When it comes to stuff like that's why I typically don't buy stuff like that because listen, I got the Days Gone one, which is great, but I feel like they're just a waste of investment in a way, especially if you're not one of those people that collect. Like I guess I collect statues. I have a God of War one, which by the way broke. I was pretty disappointed about that.
Really?
And then I have the axe was opened or broke, and then freaking I didn't get my lithogram, and I call these people. I mean, I got a free keychain with it, but still, I was annoyed that I didn't get my lithogram, which I paid for. Anyways, Days Gone was great, like the collectors, and it came with a bunch of stuff. But the thing is, you have to really, really, really be one of those people who really like those stuff because I look at the artwork and stuff, and I scroll through it from time to time. But then in my head, it's like, well, it says no spoilers. I haven't beat Days Gone yet, so I'm probably never gonna touch that art book ever again. I don't plan on beating Days Gone because the game is trash. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
No,
But no, seriously, when it comes
yeah.
to art books or artwork, it's like, you get the spoiler alert, like, oh, don't read past whatever, and then it's like, well, once you beat the game, like you focus on multiplayer or you focus on another game, so you don't really revisit it. So you have to really be a person who's really into artistic stuff and looking at all that stuff to really appreciate it, if you know what I mean.
But then, what if also like maybe they throw in some concept art? You know what I mean? Like maybe they throw in some stuff from development. Maybe
They
throw in
do, and I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it, but
So
then
like
it's in my head. It's like I don't really benefit from seeing like, like, to me it's like it's one of those like I don't know, I guess guilty pleasure
I see.
things where like
Yeah, I see.
you buy into it, but then it's like you're not really getting anything out of it, really. I
I
don't know.
see, I see, I see, I see. Also, what I want to see, of course, what you've been hearing if you've been following this series, of course, the underlining soundtrack is, of course, from The Last of Us, right? So I would love to hear Last
Yes,
of Us Part
yes.
2. So I know Gustavo Santaolalla, whatever his name is right now, which is in the studio.
Santiago or Santiago.
San,
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Santa Olaya.
Gustavo Santiago.
I
I don't know.
believe it's Gustavo Santaolalla. I think that's what it
Yeah,
is.
you said it perfectly.
I
Great.
think that's
Good
what
job.
it is. You know what I'm saying? Listen,
You want a
us,
round of applause?
listen, us
Good job.
Hispanics gotta pronounce stuff right. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
But
I'm
but
not.
what was I gonna say? Yeah. So I know he's in the studio whipping up some incredible.
Yes, sir.
Perhaps Lil Nas X is on the beat. Maybe Drake has a feature. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Okay, no, I'm joking. But, I'm sure he is whipping up some great tracks for us. So, of course, I want a soundtrack. Of course, that would be great to hear. But then the article, says season pass.
Really?
Yeah. As like a potential thing that could be
Oh,
thrown in there. And I didn't really contemplate that until
me
we started
too.
recording. So like, the
Season
now
pass.
now why I like the idea of that, right, is because I have on the factions episode, I was very critical
Okay.
on the fact that Last of Us 1 was very much, I won't say fully pay to win, but it had very much pay to win tactics in there. You know what I'm saying? And I would have loved to, and I still want to this day. If Naughty Dog came out tomorrow, it's like, yo, listen to me. If you like factions now in 2019, we're gonna give us $20. Give us $20, and we'll give you everything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I would freaking die.
Like I would pay for that. Like
Me too.
if they are dead set on doing that type of tactic in the game, which is neither here or there. I'm not fully in support of it, but hey, if that's what they want to do, right? If they give me the option to buy a season pass, you get everything, no questions asked. You know what I'm saying? I would appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I would
Right.
definitely appreciate that notion. Or in the inverse effect, you can maybe buy individual, maybe like every weapon and every perk still stays. I believe on Last of Us factions, it's $1, right? I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
think
like,
so.
yeah. So like, if you want to, have the option, if you don't want to do season pass, if you want to just buy just one specific gun, you can do that for $1, and you can save some money. You don't have to buy the season pass, but I would like to buy the season pass and just get everything. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I would
It would
definitely
be
much
cool
enjoy.
if the
Yeah.
season pass also gave you access for DLC, right? Because I think Naughty Dog has done that in the past where I
Oh,
think
you're
if
right.
you got, like, I mean this is unrelated, but for the Nathan Drake collection, they did it where if you buy that, you automatically get the stress test beta, or if you have, so maybe if you have The Last of Us still installed, you get a stress test or some kind of beta, or maybe if you just pre-order the game. But either way, I know that they had I think a version for this DLC for Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, right? I think
Yep. Mm-hmm.
it was free for you if you got the collectors or some nonsense. Yeah.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think
Yep.
they can do the same thing where the season pass grants you some kind of DLC free stuff if they plan to do DLC, which I imagine they would want to do DLC.
Yeah. 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 And
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that until you brought it up. But
In
yeah, like
terms of
that.
story DLC, not multiplayer DLC.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
both. Why not? Both.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I mean,
And I hope, pardon me,
no.
sorry,
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
I hope that they do like a roadmap like they did in Uncharted multiplayer, just to kind of highlight some of the stuff that they're doing, because it's just great to see stuff like that, so you can look forward to content for the multiplayer. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about that on the factions episode of like having like different seasonal content and like
Yeah.
like I said before, like the clear obvious one, if it's Christmas time, have some Christmas lights,
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying, all
right.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe that could play into the season pass stuff and everything. But that was a good point that you brought up as well about how like the season pass, could also give you access to, of course, story content, which we got with the original Last of Us. And even though Lost Legacy became its own separate side game, they still held their word and were like, yo, even though it's a side game and we're charging people that haven't played Uncharted 4 and they can still get it without buying the original Uncharted 4 game, $40, whatever. If you bought the season pass or whatever they called it for Uncharted 4, you will still get Lost Legacy for free.
Libertalia edition, I think.
That's what it's called? Yeah.
I know that was the bigger collection edition, but I don't know if that's that. I think that one granted you access to the deal for the Lost Legacy, I think. Or maybe it was the digital. Either way, I know it was one of the editions.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, no, it definitely was for sure. Like I know, and because like that was a big like because they didn't. And so when they pivoted their scope from it being just like a side DLC incorporated into Uncharted 4 and kind of made it its own separate game, that was a lot of discussion. Like, man, like are they gonna not call it a DLC? Like what's the deal? And like they, even though it became a side game, they still held down their word. And gave people access if they paid for it. You know what I'm saying? So like that was all good. Even though the scope blew up of the game and it was a lot bigger than what they initially intended when they put it up for like a DLC type thing that you can buy initially. You know what I'm saying? So that's like really good. Yeah. But I mean like I'm sure we have another episode probably in the pipe about like the hypothetical Left Behind version of Last of Us Part 2. Like what could that be? And maybe that might be for a conversation when actually Part 2 actually comes out. We have more ideas of like what they could possibly do in terms of a DLC for Part 2 and that scope of things.
True.
So probably not before release, but definitely sometime in the future. I'm sure that's a conversation to be had probably after we beat Part 2 and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Maybe a cool addition or thing that they can throw into one of the additions could be the hamster bracelet that Ellie wears with Dina. Dina? Yeah, Dina. Yeah. I mean,
Dina.
I don't know how that could be interpreted in the media because that is something of a Jewish type of culture role thing. I know that like that's a famous Jewish sign that it's supposed to bring goodwill and good faith and good health and just positive vibes essentially when you wear that and everything. So I hope that doesn't cause any backlash, but
maybe they can just give us Ashley Johnson.
Literally in the edition, like rolled up in like styrofoam. Hey,
yes,
that's cool. I would have her like do some, intros and outros to all of our shows on PlayStation Stores. I would.
Oh yeah, I know.
Man, I would. I would have her out here promoting this channel, promoting this podcast.
True.
She would be out here. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, for real. That'd be a great thing to have, honestly. But do you have any other additions in terms of different things that they could throw into your, because I'm trying to think of more, but I feel like we kind of
necessarily. I think what they could attempt to do is a little bit more smaller stuff rather than a big, massive statue. What they can do is more small scale things, like perhaps a keychain or two. Perhaps do what God of War did, and maybe just have the Ellie edition really come with a bigger statue than the other edition. Maybe a bigger version of that one statue, and then include other things, like perhaps if you get this, you get an additional arm tattoo. Perhaps you get a keychain of Ellie and Joel, two separate ones. Maybe even a keychain for multiplayer showing like a gun, maybe the frontier or hunting rifle Ellie has in her hand for the PlayStation dynamic theme. Perhaps they can even include different dynamic themes for each edition, which would be cool.
I like that.
And yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. Or maybe what they can do is even give us Ellie's eyeballs, maybe even her.
Now, when you said tattoo, maybe they literally skin Ashley Johnson, and they just include copies of the skin tattoo. Like literally, you can wear Ellie's skin with the
that'd be-
tattoo on it.
That'd
I
be
like
different.
that. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But let us know down in the comment section what you would like to see in terms of different editions for Last of Us Part 2. What are your ideas? What are your thoughts? Let us know down in the comments below. But also, Starks, where can where can the people find you, Starks? This
Billy, eh?
Billy said some wild. Billy had a very interesting addition that I will not be saying. I will not
I
be.
just read it.
I will not be saying what was said in the Discord chat publicly at all. But yeah. So
well,
I mean, Stars,
you can-
where can the people find you?
First off, I just want to say if you're still watching the episode, I appreciate both of us appreciate it, and of course, if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe. However, I do post YouTube videos sometimes on my YouTube channel at The Starks. I also have a Twitter page, which you might not want to follow because I reply to some controversial stuff there, and anyways. But yeah, that's pretty much it. How about you, sir?
I mean, I would encourage people to follow it. You know, for your
Nah,
authenticity.
man, people don't want controversial. I was replying to this 13 Reasons Why controversial topic, and
Amen. People love authenticity. You know what I'm saying? You can go to my Twitter at the KDays123. Follow me on there. I tweet a lot about Jaden Smith as of recently. You know what I'm saying?
Jaden Smith, Jaden Starks,
Jade.
Jaden Starks. Jaden's my real name, by the way.
Really?
Jaden Starks. Yeah, that's why. See, I figured you didn't realize the joke. I'm like, dude, my name's Jaden.
This is quite embarrassing, if I may.
I told you this. I did tell you this.
I just always call you
forgot.
Starks. Like I mean.
Nah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
That's lit.
Yeah.
That's well. Hi, my name's Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir. On episode 7 of the podcast that we do weekly, but you know. But also make sure to go check out our other content here on Pigeon Source, where you can follow us. Of course, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and if you are on a podcast service, stay on there. But if you're not, and if you're on YouTube and you want to have a episode or all of our long form content in audio format, you can do so by going down in the description where you can find the Anchor link down there where you can go and see our different links to our different podcast services that we are on. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, all the good stuff. Be sure to follow us on there. If you're interested in listening to a full audio format, maybe you're grinding out a game, maybe you're on commute to your work, maybe you're at work, as I do, quite frankly. You know, I just be bumping podcasts, serving people at my restaurant because I don't care. But if you want to do all that, link in the description. And of course, follow us on Discord and Twitter. Links are down below. Thank you for watching. And as always,
The Last of Us awaits.
interesting.
Greatness awaits. Greatness awaits.
I like it. The Last of Us Part 2 awaits. Interesting.
Yes,
Interesting.
sir.